You came to the right person if you wanted me to say something awkward.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday night at the crib. I posted the hangout on the right-hand side in case anybody would like to join us to discuss the current TLCs, the upcoming raid, the Category 5 storm that's going to wipe Florida off the map.
Yeah, actually, I would like to take a
A
moment.
clean secession from the union.
Yeah, I would like to take a moment and just wish everybody like a good luck who's down there. I mean, that thing is a scary son of a bitch coming up at you all.
Yes, ditto.
Yep, it is. Yeah, I've been in Florida for quite a few of these things, and yeah, this is one that frightens me. But lucky my house is just down there, and not me. So we'll see how that works out. But Daniel's down there. He's down there to keep tabs on it for me. Tomorrow we may have a special open mic show, and Daniel's going to be strapped to a tree like they do on CNN and other things, and broadcasting the show, letting us know exactly what's going on. You know.
Sure.
Okay, are you up for that, Daniel?
I'm concerned about the phrase "strapped to a tree."
Yeah.
Can we not?
Well, you know, it might be the safest way to go. But I will introduce people from left to right on your YouTube screen. We'll start off with Vlad the Impaler.
Just Vlad, but yeah, I have returned to live television.
Okay. Well, just so you know, Vlad, I add I make everybody have a 2-word name. Magic Mike. You know, just for the introduction. Magic Mike.
Hello all, and good luck, Florida.
Father George.
Evening, everybody.
Senior Daniel.
Hello, everyone.
Two Doors.
Science.
And this is Hefe. So, anybody like to start off with any issues that you'd like to discuss at this point?
How come you're the only one that doesn't have two names?
Well, I used to be El Jefe, and then I had to change it. So I can call myself El Jefe. How about that? We'll go with that.
No, I don't like El Jefe. We got to come up with something better than that.
Jefe's junk.
He had to get rid of his criminal alias after years and a strange incident.
We'll come up with something.
Just watch
I'm sure.
Netflix. It'll be out this fall.
I'm sure somebody will come up with
I made
something.
the name change in the game before, so I could hide underneath bases. But
I was once Vlad the Merciless, and the reason that I changed my name just to Vlad was so that I could hide under bases.
Yeah, and there's some people that still sport the really long names, and I don't quite understand that, but they seem happy with them.
I've had mine from day one. I ain't changing it. I don't give a crap. I ain't paying to get it changed.
Yeah.
Oh no, I changed mine when it was free. Remember back when Alliances just started, and you had that one free name change when you joined on Alliance?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I still have a name change for free, but at this point, I mean, I ain't changing anything.
Yeah. Well, at least it wasn't like Dragonbane Deluxe or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you drinking like liquor tonight instead of beer? Like I can hear ice cubes.
Yeah. I can hear ice cubes.
You worried about the house. And I'm hearing myself in somebody's tube. Who's that? That would be Daniel.
No, I'm not even on
Son of a
YouTube.
bitch.
I hope it's not me again.
I'm gonna smack you if it's Mike, man.
Hold on.
All right, that went away. So, how's everybody doing in the TLCs and whatnot? I know I pushed everybody because the Defensive Arts was originally only a 4-day TLC, and there's 2 days and change left on it.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah. There's not a huge amount of time, and it's done. But I'm trying to figure out if I can see how much time is left on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
2 days, 7 hours, 53 minutes. So 2 days and 8 hours. But if you can get this done, especially get the the first 2 done, and try and get as much of the charged armors, especially if you have nothing on your the fleet for your current raid fleet, whether it be Skyfires or Phoenixes, and hopefully not Apollos at this juncture. But get as much of that on as you can beforehand, because we can't be too certain that they're not planning that we have them, because Prize Pack 1 and Prize Pack 2 were so easy to accomplish if you had a halfway decent raid fleet. Prize Pack 3 became a little bit trickier because those 5 charged X armor panels are for next raid cycle, so you might have just saved yourself. What the hell is that?
I'm sorry, it's outside.
Okay. Did a biker gang just show up at your house, Mike?
I muted him.
Okay. It's sort of something. But yeah, it might save you, 60 million raid points. We don't know how many points they're worth now, but that could be a significant savings in the raid. So if you do coin and it's not going to cost you a huge amount of coins, I would recommend that you try to get Prize Pack 3 done and look up the videos for the 103s, correct? From the previous raid. There's a lot of workarounds involving Hell Race or Ghost Crawlers or whatnot to kill the Rudolph, it's been called, or different names, but the Hellstar City.
Yeah. I have Prize Pack 3 done with Skyfires, and I was actually refitting one of them, so I only have the flag and 3. I mean, not Skyfires. I'm sorry, Phoenixes. I have the flag and 3 Phoenixes, and I was not driving well. And I was having some serious lag in that last target, but you can get the idea of what you got to do if you have those on the on that video. There's I think Ren said that he was going to do one with Skyfires, and I haven't seen it yet. And who did someone did one with the subs. Daniel, was it you during the raid?
With subs?
Yeah,
no, I think that was Ren.
That was Ren. Someone had gone in with Skyfires and then finished it off with a Ghost Crawler or something like that. I don't think it was Ren.
It was Rum.
Oh, it was Kevin. Okay, all right, Rum Runner. Okay, so he probably got one kicking around. I mean, there are a bunch of videos kicking around now, and the other thing too is don't forget we still have that. If you haven't finished the Icebreaker, the Call to Arms Icebreaker, and that has what 3 or 4 charged M's, I think, in it, and that's Garrison. So there's some charged armor out there to get to kind of lessen your point needs in the next raid. Because Lord help me if it's another freaking 600 million points. Shit.
And that's the thing too. It won't just save you coin; it will save you physical seat time, because those targets to do well just take a long time, and you just saved up an hour or 2 that you could use to sleep or eat food or get exercise or do anything else.
Yeah, and basically right now you're hitting 103 for 5 of them, and in the raid, what's the guesstimate? 20. So yeah, people, if you have the capability to do it at all, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, that Icebreaker TLC gives out the Charged Armor M, which I don't think they offered in the last.
Yeah, last time it was
raid.
X. No. Well, the last time they had the Call to Arms one that offered charged armor, it was the X. But I think they switched it to M because the X is going to likely be needed for the next raid set. So, if you're still trying to fit out your Skyfires or hell, actually just about anything from last raid set or this raid set, you're gonna need, the M's are perfect to get.
Well, my issue is I actually have 3 garrison fleets, so I don't and I didn't get charged armor in the very first raid in which they were offered. I got lulled into thinking they were luxury items. I only claimed 1 so I could satisfy the collector in me, and left 9 sitting on the table. And I need those M's to finish up that 3rd garrison fleet. Because I built the 2nd set of icebreakers just with tokens. I didn't have to take any shipyard time at all. But I don't have the enough charged armor to put on them. and I successfully killed the discussion. Yay!
No.
Oh, I get to fill up that air again. All right. So, can we talk about the emails that were sent to people for the answering questions? Is that a thing?
Actually, I want to know that. I didn't get one. Why didn't I?
Get
Okay,
one
so, no, for the. Oh, hang on.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
Sorry. There are actually other people that live in this house. So, for those who don't know, through the last week, there were circulating of an email that Kixeye had sent, basically saying a certain group of players was selected by some means for kind of a test pilot program where the player picks what questions they want to answer. They answer questions about BP to newer players, and they may get cash or in-game rewards for their assistance. Personally, I don't think Kickstarter would give out cold hard cash. Maybe it's just in-game gold, but that's the gist of the email. And there's been all sorts of who's been selected, this, that, why was I selected, why wasn't I selected, so on and so forth. This is the start of the program. It's really small. I don't know how they picked who they picked. I wasn't picked, but I shouldn't have been because I'm an idiot and gave them the wrong email and never changed it. But yeah, so it's weird because it sort of sounds to me like they're kind of, I don't want to say re-outsourcing their CS, upgrading their CS, vertically laddering this. Like, I don't know what the actual term is, but it feels like this will replace at least some of CS in some form or fashion. Does that sound right to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
One of the interesting things too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's too soon to tell, I think.
Well, the way that I've seen it worded was that it was going to just help, like it was how-to type of questions, not CS type of questions. I don't know. I don't know what the whole thing is yet. You know, they haven't given us enough information yet.
Would be interesting to know what those questions are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's probably just simple questions. I would think actually things, because it's been a topic of conversation about the lack of updated tutorials. Maybe how do I remote target? Because I don't think there's anything that actually explains what that is. You got to go and ask. There's nothing in the game that explains it. You know, how do I do, what's the FM? How do I do the FM? What do I build? You know, simple stuff, I guess. Simple stuff that it seems to us, but to a new player, it's, you know, quite daunting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be too negative right off the bat, but is recruiting new players actually a legitimate goal at this point?
If they could figure out a way wherein they could get new players into the FM immediately, and they've started taking steps towards that, but just I don't think there's big enough strides yet. Then yeah, I mean, I think it would be okay if they changed the pathing.
It's interesting because. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay. The thing is, though, yeah, they could get new players. I still think they'd have to give them different information because as a new player coming into this game, I would think it would seem very daunting. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of statistics, even on the basic hulls. If you as a player were to look into the tier 4 or whatever conquerors that you can build, just look at everything that you can research in the Naval Lab. That's a lot of stuff. And that all seems very overwhelming. And all this information is available to you from the start. You might not know what it means. You're very confused. You might even bring one of those deflection holes into the FM, not knowing that it's bypassed and that it doesn't matter. There's just no way for a new player to know the information.
Well,
I would think if they wanted to get...
I was going to say, someone could just fix the damn tutorials for once.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That's what I'm thinking. You fix the tutorial so that the new players can actually get in and get access, get access to the FM, understand how important the FM is, understand what to do with it, those sorts of things, and have that kind of be a focus of the videos, and have them say, maybe even in the video, like, yes, there are raids, but you don't really need to concern yourselves with that right now. Your goal is to do the FM. Raids come later. Here's what that is. Maybe it's once you hit level 40, hey, there's base defense. You might have been hit a few times by lower players, but you're about to hit level 50, and here's what that means, and here's what you can do. Kind of things to help guide the player, because at this point there really isn't any.
Well,
but that's not really the ends of this email thing, though.
If they can get something into the tutorial, I mean, the thing is the pathing can be adjusted for each raid set, where if you're just getting into it and you get your FM going, you can put, like, next raid set, what's going to be the bottom tier thing? It's going to be like Tide Seekers, right? It'll be Tide Seekers, Hell Wraiths, and then 2 new hulls. So you put Tide Seekers into tier 2. So you know what? Brand new player after a couple of weeks can be hitting C sets, and they'll actually feel engaged. I mean, it's not that hard to actually do the pathing. It's just someone there has got to actually sit down and go, oh, you know what? This is actually kind of a priority, and we got to try and get some new players. I don't know that they're actually looking to get new players, though. I mean, that's the thing is, if you really wanted new players, you would set it up so new players would feel engaged and want to keep on playing.
Well, what tech level do you think people right now need to do to complete prize pack 1 of High Tide? I mean, can you get that done with rhinos? Or, I mean, I know a lot of people that have left the game and come back have Apollos. It looks very doable with Apollos. Because at that point, you get the Tide Seeker, Advanced Concussive Payload, and a couple of Tide Seeker builds. I don't know what you're going to arm it with.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I haven't hit High Tide this time yet, but I think that prize pack 1 you were able to do it with rhinos last time.
Yeah.
I could have swore someone did it with rhinos. I don't know that you can go through all 3 packs with rhinos, but the other thing is the Apollos in the not the lab. What the hell is it called? I always blank on this. Yes, thank you, the Foundry. I always blank on that bloody word. So they have access to the Apollo. I don't know how quick you can get to it in the Foundry, but.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do here. I mean, they might move to the FM afterwards, but it seems like, we talked about this on Wednesday. It seems like actually fairly good timing to release this. These people have some time to actually build it before not this upcoming raid, but the next raid. So they have 6-7 weeks or, to get this done and get, at least, some sort of Tide Seeker built out on the water.
Yeah, and like I said on Wednesday, like I'm really happy with the way that they brought this out an extra month early. So instead of doing it 2 weeks before the raid, they're bringing it out, 6 weeks before the raid. That's great.
Yeah,
I hope they keep doing that.
Yeah, they can build the holes now. Like actually build them. Slow time.
Yeah, it's an obtainable goal with no coins and whatnot. It may not be, there will be a push to get at least blank hulls, however many blank hulls on the water. So they'll be available for VXP weekend, and then go ahead and refit them afterwards. So yeah, no, I think it's a good move to introduce new players to this.
I'd had a thought about getting technology to the new players, and obviously if the new player doesn't have technology, they're not going to stay engaged with the game for very long. The technology that we have right now is sort of on a year scale. So why don't they just put in one of your research labs, or maybe divide it up between weapons and specials and whatever, so that you can research, in effect, an old tech research, and after doing whatever, a week or 2 weeks or whatever, you're given all the technology that's current up through the last release. So in this case, you'd have everything up to Hell Wraith and Tide Seeker. because obviously that's our next, with skirmish being our next cycle. And then those players, because it really isn't going to affect the balance of the game for mid to end game players, because we've got all the new stuff, or we'll be getting all the new stuff going forward. But you at least put people on a playing field where they can, like you said, do maybe a tier 3 or tier 4 target, be able to grind their way to getting some of the newer tech, the most recent technology. Yeah, but this TLC where they're releasing the Tide Seekers, all well and good, but you're still charging them a ridiculous amount to build it and a ridiculous amount to repair it for technology that's a year old and comes from the last skirmish cycle.
And without the flash, it's worthless anyways.
Yeah, we haven't seen the targets yet, though. I mean, we haven't seen the lower level targets for the skirmish raid to understand how it all factors in. But yeah, it may be worth less as opposed to worthless. Well, it's hard to say without seeing it.
We've talked about in the past having sets of technology that you could research rather than do it individually, especially to let people catch up. I mean, I'm not opposed to them just giving the damn tech away.
Well,
you start the game and you automatically have all this, because the thing is the tech depth is actually a really big thing, because stuff comes up, builds come up that use odd things. Like the Trident came out of it's just, you want to have the tech depth, you want to have people have access to stuff, but like I really don't mind them giving away, like, you start the game and all the draconian blueprints that you're supposed to get from salvages, give it to them. Just give it to them.
Don't spoil those kids. I agree with what Vlad says. Some of it should be made researchable. And when's the last time they added new blueprints to the cargos? I mean, have them hit a few cargos, and we have the lucky bastards. Makes it way easier, and it makes people like they've achieved something to actually go out and win it. And there was a certain amount of excitement back in the day, like, what am I going to get out of this cargo? And people were racing around the map to open up different levels of cargo, even though they haven't changed the cargos in a zillion years, and it's way easier to open up than it was back in the day. But I think that's another avenue to release this kind of technology, as opposed to either just, because I don't know about just giving it all to them, but I understand a combination of research and the cargos. And then,
I'm saying the old stuff, just give it to them. There's no reason to stick that crap in the salvage. If they're going to put anything in the salvages, put something in the salvages that's worthwhile.
Except for you can, with the fleets that they have now that you can get for nothing, you can hit those salvages for no problem whatsoever. I mean, they basically give them Punishers, and it's the weapons that are the problem. The hulls they give them are pretty impressive at this point. Between the Foundry and the low levels of the TFC, it's the weapons that go with it that are a little bit more of an issue as far as, but I still think, I mean, if we were able to, 7 years ago, if we were able to open up these cargos for 0 damage, they should be able to do it now, because they haven't changed those things at all. So, just my thoughts on that, and it also helps you rank up, and they need resources and whatnot.
Right, but I mean, put something in there that's worthwhile. I mean, how many blueprints do we have in the game now? It's the base. I mean, they're worthless anyway. I mean, there's some odd things that I've used, old prints for, but for the most part, they're kind of worthless.
Yeah. Well, they're worthless to you, but you're not level 36. I don't know. I'm just thinking it would be more exciting if they added it to the salvages as opposed to just giving it to them. I mean, make it easier to achieve. With the Lucky Bastards crew, that you got an hour and every single time you're going to get a blueprint.
Yeah.
it's fairly easy to progress as far as that goes. Not back in the day, where,
Right, but what are you gonna have? Look at the prints that are in the salvages right now. What are you gonna use those prints for?
But that's what I'm saying. They haven't updated those prints in a zillion years.
Right, and that's why I'm
I
saying
mean, some of them
give
should
away,
be. I
give
mean,
away
as
all the
opposed to
crap
giving away-
ones.
As opposed to giving away some of them, they ought to. You think they ought to all be kept in there, but like some of those impact cannons and whatnot, some of that stuff can just be taken away. Not all the impact cannons. There's like one or two that has a use in today's game, but you know, the one that fires longer, and does more damage, and has higher accuracy. You know, there is some stuff that could just, you know, they could go through and decide to just make them go away.
But you know what? Do you really want them trying to actually take something out of the game? I mean, I don't even know if they can actually put anything in the salvages anymore. I mean, that's such an old coding that, you know, I'd be afraid.
They could just take some of the 1 and 2 and maybe some of the 3 tier, put it into research, and then put 4s and 5s into the salvages.
Right, but the question is whether or not they can. That's the other thing.
That they remember how?
I guess. I mean, is it code that's even available anymore?
I don't think they, you know, I guess your question is, are the people that are designing the game now have knowledge of how to do that at this point? I don't know. They could bring back some of the old people as consultants.
That's true.
Yeah, no. I don't know. But it seems like it would be one way to go, as opposed to just giving it to them, which I'm fine, but it just they won't really appreciate how to build with it and like differentiate one from another, because they had it all to begin with. And then if you put it all in the research lab, then they need to research it all. You know, then they need to spend time researching it all. Unless you make all these researches, you know, 5 minutes each. I don't know. It's who knows. I haven't been at that level in umpteen years, and I'm not really sure what the needs of the players or the players that are entering the game at this point, what their mindset is, because a lot of them are probably joining the game because they know somebody else in the game, and they are probably getting guidance on how to do it.
One would hope anyway.
Yeah. So,
Now,
I don't know. Go ahead, Mary.
I've noticed a bug now with the new stuff, the portal.
What's
Every
that?
combat, it seems to drop its health by like 25%. The Rampart, and it's fully healed before combat. Base gets hit, and it's like 25% dead already. I don't know if I'm the only one that's been seeing that, or if it's community wide. But
You're not. I actually have a friend of mine that was telling me that it loses half its health every time.
Mine does that.
Half its health gone every time it's like once the battle starts, it's half gone already.
As soon as they enter.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Just a visual display. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I sent that one in when I saw it. I still don't have one built. I should probably get around to doing that.
Yeah, mine's got like 2 hours, so I wouldn't know.
You could use all those tokens from that Forever TLC. Because you can only hold 1 5-day, and you get 3 of them in quick succession.
But is the actual Great Rampart? I don't know. I'm in no rush to build it itself. I mean with
it's like a day.
No, it's not that. It's the power it sucks up.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah, I mean the power it sucks up is like, I might be able to use this elsewhere.
Like how much power?
Like 12,000.
Wow.
Yeah, let me see. It's equip. Since I don't have mine equipped, it's equip. Oops, that went away. Okay, it's 12,250, which is quite significant at this point. And
yeah,
doesn't really do much, but it acts like, basically the way I see it is it acts like a huge armor plate.
Mhm.
And we don't get that kind of charge associated with, if I'm going to put a massive armor plate on something, it may be scaled to that. I should take a look at that to see if it's scaled with the other armor plates. Let's see if I want to put a permacrete. It's 1,665, and the rest of them are 925, 925, 925. Yeah, 955. It's a whole different. It's 10 to 13 armor plates is what it's costing, and that might be what it's scaled to. But it just seems excessive as far as the benefit that's provided, unless you're really thrifty in other areas of your bases in regards to power consumed.
I'm already at my max.
Yeah, but I mean, do you have any urge to strip stuff off and
Nope.
Solar plates and all that.
There, that got everything. Yeah, dude.
Wow.
I'm putting on countermeasure turrets. Not like, well, one of them is the Drat Coax because I had a spare, but I'm talking like flat gun 4, anti-bombard 4, because they're really cheap and they're at least something. Like the offensive turrets, they get negated by deflection entirely. There's no point unless you're using one of the top end ones, but those could at least do something in theory. And because it's based on percent of weapon power, the weapon power is jack, so you can put whatever you want. My strategy is I'm trying to put like kind of up near the entrance that have one with the rampart and then countermeasures and stuff around it, so that you take out some turrets and you take that out, and that would be the bubble. While you're trying to take that out, you're taking fire from the island. You're taking fire from mortars and axioms, hopefully. And that stalls you so long that you take significant fire, or you turn around and leave, and hopefully you won't notice that you bubbled me.
I got mine in fine. When I was putting out other turrets, I just had to take off specials anyway, so I just put on the solars, and the power wasn't really an issue for me. Because a lot of the Axiom, you really can't put any other special with that turret besides the solar panels. So you add more base power instead of another special.
All right, I was doing a little math. You need to put on of the armor panels, the solar ones, in order to get the what are those? Those are the solar reinforcements, right?
Yeah.
Which should give you 50 each. In order to power one of those great ramparts, you need to build 245 in your base in order to account for that.
It's probably not.
I got way less than that.
Well, because you had extra power. I'm just saying you had extra power to gain, but you need, each one of those adds 50. So you need 245 to get to 12,250.
If you have the anti-rocketeer turrets, you could add 3 cadmium solar panels. That's 200 each, and they still work without any specials. That adds a lot of power, base power too. That's what I have.
That's what I meant with the panels.
No, well, you have the 50, the armor for 50, and then you have the special that gives 200 each.
Yeah, so you would need 62 of those to power one.
Oh wow!
So I mean, if you have extra power, these things that you're talking about, these solar things, they will add a fair amount, but you have to have. It's just sort of adding a little bit to what you have as existing power. A lot of people are built, you know, wisely or not, they're built pretty much completely out. And they were not planning on something like this happen. So they, you know, they start the thing with 50 left. So they need to be, you know, taking weapons off of turrets or off of defense platforms in order to get this done.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go with a couple of turrets that have tier 6 tech, or is it 5 tech, like blunderbusses or gargoyles, gargoyle 3, stuff like that.
Or what Brian was bringing up earlier, some of the older anti-tech.
Yeah, the anti-tech,
flak guns, your bombards, your whatnot, which are really low power. And if you start replacing, I'm just wondering if it's wise overall to start doing that just to get a little extra armor on your portals.
I think it is, because currently with the current way of overpowered ships, you really need to have a bunch of fire support modules on all your turrets to even do a little bit of damage. So if you're gonna have turrets all over your base and they're not in fields, there's no point in having a tier 6 turret on that turret. It's still not. I mean, it's not gonna do anything. It's gonna do 0 damage, and it's just gonna get killed really quick. So if you want to, you could probably get rid of like a couple of your turrets, but only want to like delete them.
No, exactly.
Well, the turret itself doesn't cost you the power, or the platform itself. I mean, I know Holsch was pushing the idea of the green turrets, the basically a solar turret, which is providing all it does is he's putting on the panels and the reinforcements to generate all this stuff.
Yeah, that'll be a great idea.
But again, like, you know, I was bringing the numbers up earlier. 12,250. The solar panels provide 200 each, or the armor ones provide 50, and then the ones you're eating up a special provide 200 each. You need a ton, in order to feed one of these things.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait it out and wait for OP10, and shouldn't be a problem then. I hope.
No, and I don't think they'll be as useful when OP10 comes out, because I think the turrets themselves will have way more armor than they do now. And that addition of, because all it does is add 2.5 million armor to that gate. That's why I question the whole thing.
Well, that's what I was saying.
It also.
I'm not going to take any turrets down. I'm just going to leave it until OP10 comes and then decide, you know.
It also doesn't let people in unless they destroy it. So it's a good bubble pad.
It's a good bubble pad, but the actual portion that you're adding that costs power doesn't add to your bubble pad.
Yeah.
So, and are people able to drive by them anyways?
No, they're you can't drive them until you destroy them if they have the Great Rampart.
No, but are you able to drive past a portal?
What do you mean?
With no rampart? Because I was seeing a lot of people weren't able to drive past a portal either, and the only way you would be able to drive past one anyways is probably if you're, depending on how your base is set up, is if you're trying to use subs. But are people able to drive past them if they don't have the Great Rampart?
I think they were, because the way I saw it was when I did the Reaver Rampage, or the Reaver Tide.
Yeah.
When I didn't have the Great Rampart, they would actually come in through the entrance like normal. But then when I have the Great Rampart, they kind of get confused on where to go.
So it stops them.
Yeah, it stops them. It's like they're like sitting there doing nothing. I had to take one of my ships out just to kill the set.
Nice.
But
out there, I'll take care of them.
yeah. Just now I have to do the Reaver Tide. I have to actually open up my base. I have to actually make a hole in my channel, and then they're not confused anymore and go and kill themselves.
Oh, they don't even get close enough to get a shot off.
Yeah, they just stay out there in the.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
Mine ended up killing them all except one of the drones. And I had one drone just sitting there, so I had to move a turret out to get it. So we'll find out tomorrow how that works again.
Yeah, it seems it's a little bit bugged, especially for the Reaver Tide.
Well, it's new, you know.
Yeah, they're really confused when I.
Yeah, they get confused. They think it's like the whole thing is locked up.
Personally, I just took my Rampart out and just moved something out and did it. It's like it was kind of funny though to see them all like coming on to the west end of my base, and it's like, oh, what are we doing? It's all those ships.
All right, it's 6:42. Hefe, you want to talk about the new Sloth flagship?
What? There's a Sloth flagship?
Yeah, sick paint job too. Got flames.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Does
Yeah,
that make
Raptor
does
stuff.
that make it faster, Raptor?
I just sent you the picture of it, Hefe. It actually says it's a blazing fast Conqueror flagship. So I don't know. Well, see, the thing is like, I don't know how that's a Sloth if it's blazing fast. Because
Exactly.
one of the things that I was playing with was having a Arena Rage run in, as fast as possible, and having a couple of Sloths or oppressors on the outside. And I don't know if this is like, I don't know what the hell this is going to be.
Maybe it'd be the Sloth with like a lot of speed. That'd be cool.
Well, everyone knows
a
when
lot of speed, it's going to get slotted. I mean, it's I don't know.
I haven't seen the stats. I just saw the picture of it there.
Well, the normal Sloth has splash damage reduction and some pretty good resistances. And we all know if you paint flames on something, it goes twice as fast.
Yes.
That's a rule.
That has been scientifically proven.
Yeah.
Stickers go a long ways, man.
It's like the 8th law of thermodynamics. It's only sort of related because it's fire.
I'm not going to be impressed until I see the Summit Racing sticker on the side of that thing.
He's got it. There it is.
I just imagine plus 1,000% combat speed to the base of 8 or whatever. Everyone's like, 1,000%? That has to be a typo. No.
Yeah.
Not on base 8, it's not.
Is that
It looks like the V Punisher. Remember that when that came out? How great that was.
Is this a late Independence?
500. What?
Is this a late Independence Day skin?
Exactly.
It's red, white, and blue, and it's flames.
A little late.
I mean, I love the scheme. I just wish I could put that on like something else.
It looks really cool.
I like the flame. That's awesome.
Maybe if they.
I want that on my Zealous. That's what I wanted on.
Pretty cool.
You see how the top part is blue, but if they made it black so as not to confuse it, I think they could make this a pretty good, just a normal Sloth skin.
It's definitely American. It's red, white, and blue.
It's flames. It blows things up. It's got flames.
This is what happens when you hold on to firecrackers, boys and girls.
So whose flagship is this? Whose flagship is this now?
Brennus.
Hopefully
Brennus.
I think it's
Brennus has completed his research in the blueprints,
which we haven't heard from him in years. I guess
a long time. He's been working on this Sloth the whole time
since Drac Hunt.
Yeah, this is why.
Wasn't it since Drac Hunt?
I don't know.
We haven't heard from.
I mean, out of the blue, Brennus just shows up. I'm like, okay. The last time I heard from Brennus was, actually, the last time I saw anything about Brennus was in the story that I made up last year. Before that, I mean, what was it? It's been 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap!
Probably more.
Now I know what he's
I would
been
say
doing.
more.
I mean, I hope this is Brennis's.
He's been practicing his flame jobs, I guess, his paint jobs.
He probably outsources the paint to somebody else. I just hope it's actually his, because he made the blueprints, he did his research. I mean, if not, I guess it's going to be Edison's sloth.
Yeah,
So is this going to be a tank for the regular sloths?
I would assume.
flagship.
I mean, it says
That's an interesting
Conqueror
question.
flagship.
Flagship, make everything like 100% faster or something. I don't know.
It says Brennis's unstoppable sloth. I mean that worries me.
Can
No,
I
but actually,
borrow somebody's tinfoil hat and say
No.
that we're
This
all
is-
going to have to buy it before we get to the skirmish hall that we really want?
Yeah,
Don't say that.
That's true.
No,
That is
no,
gonna happen.
we had to do it. We had to do it with
Yeah,
Z-Vent.
it is gonna happen.
Somebody had to say it.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
buy
he
a
has a
couple rolls of
problem.
tinfoil. Make sure you have plenty.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's locked. If the stuff's locked behind this again. I really wish they would stop doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's not a generalist to lock it behind this time. We got the Empyreans for the last raid cycle. For Garrison. There isn't
Hey,
one
man,
for this.
Don't jinx it. They might
Yeah,
come up with something.
don't say it's going to
you
be
know.
another rerun of the monolith.
Well,
Well,
who uses
well,
The
generalists
gridiron.
anymore?
This is going
They
to be.
might have a generalist flag too. Who knows?
Well, yeah, but they're gonna have like a generalist dampening Reaver mothership in there or something. And
Oh yeah, and the S targets. Yeah.
Yeah.
they're gonna have like calamity scatters on steroids for your
Oh my
ships, but it doesn't matter because they're dampened.
Mhm.
I actually think this could have a really fun effect. So we have portals, right? And we have the rampart. Basically, that's a wall. That's meant to stop things. This is an unstoppable sloth. I imagine, side note, if anyone plays League of Legends, they'll know the Rift Herald. You summon a guy, he runs up to the enemy turrets and he bangs his head against it real hard. He takes some damage, but he also deals a bunch of damage. What if that's something this ship does? They'll never be able to code it properly, I know, but
No.
Man,
I
I
can
don't
say
know. I just the
know.
way they worded that. Ugh.
The thing is, the slots are already unstoppable. If you have 4 of them, you basically have 99% splash damage reduction, which you're basically able to tank everything with splash, and everything in today's bases is all splash based.
bruh. Phlogiston launcher. If I got there. Also hyenas.
Yep.
Yeah, the hyenas will still hurt this, but yeah, I mean this is probably good for some bases that they decided to go with all of the axioms.
Mhm.
If it has the same things as the regular sloth and it's faster, the same bonuses.
Well, it's gonna have to be fast. I mean, the sloths you can't attack a base with just sloths. I mean, the damn things.
Exactly. It's got to make the rest of the sloths fast. Maybe it has that incorporated in it,
I never liked the sloths anyway. I like my.
Me either.
Either.
I like the sloth. They were. I mean, it reminds me of how BP used to be, but in today's BP, everybody drives in their bases, so it's kind of hard for you to actually attack a base.
Mhm.
All they have to do is literally just come in with an inquisitor, one inquisitor, and just launch one salvo, and then there goes all your sloths. It's that easy to kill them sometimes. That's the big problem with the sloths is that they're so slow. They in a driving fight you can't.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like them. I mean, I got 3 of them. They're ranked, done. I haven't never used them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a potential. It's a flagship, so it's potential that it's somehow
Yeah.
going to add combat speed, all these other things that.
Mm-hmm.
And it never really had its day because of the Muddle Gluts.
Yeah.
It was released, and then the Muddle Gluts showed up, so it
Yeah.
never. People really didn't invest time building them because they spent that time building the Moto Gluts because
They're still so damn slow, though. Bloody hell.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like,
after-
people didn't work out like a strategy to use them, even though they were slow. Because they just build the Moto Gluts for free and were able to walk bases. Like, why spend the time?
Especially at the beginning. It's insane.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, Rob.
Kev, you bastard.
Yeah, bite me. I told you, see, you didn't give me the good stuff that I want, so I took your mojo back.
Yeah. I gave you 3 of them for crying out loud.
Well, yeah, well, you waited. You made me wait.
Dude, I was watching a game.
Well, if you wanted to win the game, you got to pay the piper.
That's all right. The last time they got blown out by KC, they won the Super Bowl, so I'm
I
fine.
know. Well, the last time they
live with
lost
that.
an opening day game, they won the Super Bowl. So, yeah, here we go again.
I can live with that.
Yeah. So, how's everybody? What's going on? Anything good?
Doing all right.
No,
Well,
you're here.
we got it. No. We appreciate Rum showing up. No, we were, we were talking about, a sloth with flames going down the side, and they, how that's really going to impact the game.
Yeah, did you see the Sloth flagship yet, Kev?
Yeah, I haven't seen any numbers on it, but I saw it.
Yeah.
Well, it's got flames on it.
Well, yeah, it's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that those paint jobs are very worthwhile. Everybody should run out and buy them.
Well, it's not a skin. It's a it's a
Yeah,
flagship.
That's the flagship thing. Although Vlad ruined it for everybody because, he had to put on the tinfoil hat and tell us that it's going to be blocking
He had to
everything
bring
else
in
that we
logic.
want to get. Yeah, I mean.
Logic and facts based off past information.
Hey, Vlad, you're in my sector. Don't go ruining my day today. I might have to visit you.
Like you wouldn't buy that hole anyway. You have slots?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I have 3 sloths built.
Then there you go.
I've
Fully
got
ranked.
one built and never used it.
And with 3 slots, I'm sure you could walk my base.
No.
You haven't seen my
He
base
wants to
lately.
wait for the flagship.
Yeah, I
to make
need that flagship. I want that
Yeah.
flagship.
Vlad, you've never seen him actually try to hit a base before, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I got you running scared. I'll use your backwards bill and beat your base.
I love the sloth. I honestly like the sloth. It's a pretty good haul,
Yeah.
especially with the TLCs. I'm doing the current TLC, the Forever TLC, and the first three I'm using just one Pride with Raz cannons or scatters.
Ways, yeah.
Rays. And
No,
the ones that's only for ships.
Yeah. Ways.
Yeah, the reason why I use the one that's only for ships is that it won't kill the buildings fast enough, so I could just target that one building and let the mortars accumulate in the air. And as that's doing, it's just once the mortar starts hitting, it destroys like a big sizable chunk of the base. So
Yeah.
You know what does the same thing?
Mhm.
Mudgluts.
Inquisitors as well. Inquisitors too, and in one salvo too.
Yeah. Oppressors work too. They actually move.
See, to me, the sloths are a really interesting boat. The only thing it's missing is something that is tough enough to get deep enough in the channel or in the base in order to let them work.
Rainer's Rage.
So, yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't going to say anything. Thanks, George.
I've already said it
Independent.
on
Independent.
the Wednesday show, so I mean,
Well, you need a shield. You obviously need a really good shield in front of them so that they can't be fired upon, which is maybe a survivor. And then the Rainer's Rage going deep and fast, and there you go. Maybe.
Oh, I love rages.
well, I know somebody that's got a build that can try it out in a couple of days, right?
Days.
You already got it done?
Well, I've got the Rainer's will be done in what? 1 day or less. Depends upon how itchy my trigger finger is.
Filthy coiner.
Yeah.
You
20
filthy coiner.
No, I already had it built. I just had to refit it, and I had tokens.
Mhm.
22 hours and 19 minutes, if it lasts that long.
I'm trying to save my tokens so I can
Probably won't.
build the next hull.
You know why? What's the purpose in doing that? Build what you need now. You get more tokens later.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not going to get the FM. Well,
You got to get everything out for VXP.
you got to get
weekend.
everything up for VXP weekend, exactly.
That's all fine and good, but if they keep up the current trend of making the VXP available through the Mega, that'd be awesome.
No, they're not going to do that for your skirmish hulls or your whatever hulls.
Yeah, they're not going to do that for the raid halls unless you pay for it.
Yeah.
They'll do that for the conquerors. So
Yeah.
They won't even do it for the defenders.
yeah, and I've been doing the Reaver Tide, and I've been sticking my courage way out front during Reaver Tide, and still doesn't accumulate any.
No, because it don't move.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's killing tons of stuff, it still doesn't get VXP.
It turns good, but it don't have any combat speed, right?
No. I'm talking about I move it before I start Reaver Tide, so it's right at the front of my.
But you don't get VXP for any
For
base.
defending?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You don't even. There's like no way to generate VXP for the courage at this point. Besides what?
VXP weekend.
Or putting it out on the water and then
Letting somebody kill it.
No, thank you.
yeah, that's the way you can get VXP for it. I mean, it doesn't make even though I think it should be pretty tough in the water unless it's going against since it outranges everything.
Has anybody heard any rumblings about OP10 like on the week of the 22nd or the week of the 26th?
Of September?
No.
Yeah.
That's
No.
not quarter 4. No, they said it was going to be in quarter 4. I mean, in the past they've brought it out in December, but I think with all the stuff that they've loaded up on, I'm not going to be surprised if it comes out way before December.
Well, I mean,
October.
quarter 4.
I would not be surprised if it came out in October, but I do not see it coming out in September.
I mean, the thing is, yeah, we're reaching our base power limits and such, but that's
Reaching.
fine. But that's kind of the point. You can't have everything. You can't have all your super offensive, Mega Death turrets in the middle and all your super powered turrets on the outside, all up to 15,000 power, and your great rampart with your wall. You can't have everything, and you shouldn't be able to. It should be a choice, a trade-off that you make as a player based on what your base is and what it wants to do. And
You're still assuming this is a strategy game.
when did it not be a strategy game?
I mean, it's coin whatever you can.
Are the prides fixed?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Lord.
Saying.
It's exploit the latest glitch game.
That's all it is.
I'm still pissed about that. I just
Still
I want to find fault in your logic, but I can't.
Well, I did notice the other day that the Reyna's Rage, they shroud a full fleet of rages shrouds like 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I've seen it in a playthrough, in a replay.
Really?
I was surprised. Yeah.
I saw that the very first day that the bloody fleets were out on the water.
And I don't understand how that is happening. So I guess that's just a glitch that, exploitable glitch.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to explain it, right?
Yeah, it's a hidden
I
mechanic that they always build.
Yeah, it's a hidden mechanic.
I can make up all sorts of reasons why. I mean, the question is, are any of them correct?
Well, they never said anything about it. I mean, I wouldn't understand if they said something. Oh, we couldn't fit it in there, in the space that was allowed. So it has this, and this. Okay, fine. That's perfect. But just not telling us at all, and just making us guess it might happen.
That's
No, that part I have an issue with. I mean, people have sent in tickets; they're aware of it. I mean, the silence. You know, again, I don't understand the silence in some instances. I really don't.
Well, for 4 years we've been asking for them to release the unreactive factor as opposed to just saying yes or no. It's not a binary. That if it's unreactive, it has a value, and they've never released that either. So I guess we're supposed to guess at this shit.
Stuff, stacks for the launchers. I mean, there's all sorts of shit that we
stacks for the launchers, projectile speed, minimum splash. There's tons of stuff that are, is a hidden mechanic.
The hidden mechanics.
Minimum damage.
The hidden mechanics are what are destroying this game for me.
Shit, we don't even know how even the muddle missile works.
Because what they want you to do is guess. Hey, let's put a muddle missile on Arena's Rage with whatever. And then if it works, good. If not, coin it to something else.
Yeah. Hey guys, let's put this underwater weapon slot at the Inquisitor. That's fine.
Oh yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that still has me shaking my head as far as why they put the underwater slot on that. It's like, oh, we have a problem with the muddle missile. Let's make it 5 times worse than it was before. I mean, what
if this new sloth has underwater weapon slots and a 200% splash bonus?
Oh God!
Yeah, and 700,000 concussive deflection.
Well, not only that, you can put Reaver Scout on there and not lose any range on your weapons. There we go.
All that sounds good.
Yeah. You like that? You could run over some 52s with a ship like that.
Maybe if it gives like concussive and corrosive damage to the slots, that'll be nice. Deflection, I mean.
I think you're going to see that. I really do.
Because it's just those muddle missiles on Inquisitors inside the base. Even if your tank just
But you've got splash damage reduction on them though. A stacking aura.
Even with the splash damage reduction, it's just like one volley from one ship on the Inquisitor.
Dude, if you have 99% splash damage reduction and one shot from an Inquisitor is killing you, there's something broken.
Yeah, something is massively wrong. There's a minimum damage, of course. They don't ever say what it is, but
yeah, it's 99, right? That's what we got from putting all the armors on the gluttonies.
No, you don't. There's a minimum damage you have to take with every single hit, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, but the what I meant was that the reduction. It doesn't actually go to 100. It stops at 99, and that's it.
Well, but it doesn't matter. You can have 99% splash damage reduction all day and all night, but I don't actually think that the minimum damage from a lot of these is 1% of their damage dealt. That seems a little.
It may. we don't even know how those metal missile works. Like.
Well, yeah. Well, and the other point you're bringing up, we don't know how. We've never gotten an explanation of how splash dispersion works and where that works in relative to deflection and anything else. If we did, I missed it completely because I've been trying to figure it out if it's, if it's a graphical issue that it's additive. I mean, there's so many questions I have on the splash dispersion that I wish they would explain that at some point because it appears to be additive. And again, we don't know where it's brought into the process. And as far as reverse engineering all this stuff, it's pretty much impossible with all the variables that are out there. Unless you have the ability to throw the gold at a specific test build that then you are going to build off of. Not like what you think is the best thing to build at that time, but like a build to minimize all the other variables and trying to test something. And that's not a good use of anybody's gold or tokens or whatnot.
No, but Kixeye loves you for doing it.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing it.
They love you a long time.
Yes. But I'm surprised nobody's brought up, you know, the third S target that we may or may not see in the next raid.
Oh, no.
They better not. They better not.
Well,
not unless it's worth 10 million points all by itself.
Yes.
Yeah, but there's a mechanic built into the Phoenix that makes it seem like that was planned for. So I'm curious.
What's
Well,
that?
what mechanic?
The one we, you know, the aura cap of 1. The aura cap of 1.
Please elucidate.
I don't know.
I'm not following. Why would that mechanic signify a third target?
Well, there's also something it doesn't list that it's immune to.
Cold snap immune.
Stun.
Yeah, Rum had it. I mean, I'm assuming there's going to be a third target based on that.
I hope not.
Okay, look, I've said some bullshit, stupid things on this show, but at least I know mine are bullshit, stupid. There's no way they're putting a cold snap in. They have flaming cheese balls, and they take half your health and damage if you actually get hit by one, and that's enough.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Why would they turn off that aura anyway?
I mean, why did they make it the way it was, where it was an aura cap of 1, and everybody got confused and got up in arms about it? Why did they do that in the first place?
To make sure that you built a second one to give it its aura?
No, but it self medicates, so to speak.
I think most of us self-medicate. That's how come we're still playing the game.
Yeah, but it doesn't provide.
That's a penalty for the player being stunned. If you get too close, you get stunned and you lose your aura. And if you get pounded by damage during that, which is actually, I think, kind of rare, you'd have to like stun yourself in range of a turret, because if you're stunned by them, they're also stunned by them. So it's actually hard to do, but it is a player penalty if you drive poorly so as to be close enough to get stunned by them.
Okay, so you don't think it's... I mean, it just seemed odd, you know, based on what we saw with the icebreaker and the way that the raid fleets, or the hulls that we use in the raids, the way that they stacked before, and all of a sudden it's sort of an outlier at this point.
Oh yeah, no, I know we commented on it when it became released about, was it meant to be 1? Did they mean to tone down the speed boosts and make it intended to be 5? I know that was a discussion that we all had, you know, the week or so after we saw the stats. I feel like I'd point it more as an issue of they're not 100% settled into the duplicate aura cap design space yet. Or maybe it actually was intentional because the speeds being so high, you know.
Well, except for they would have. I mean, if they were intending it like that way, they would have made the combat. They would have originally designed it with the combat speed boost being lower, and then making them all add together as you got to a fleet of 5, as opposed to making it more balanced at the start.
You haven't coded, man, because I'll tell you what, if they coded it originally intending 5 and then they just couldn't get it to work, the easiest way to do it is like the least amount of coding that you can do.
Okay, then
probably would have been that.
Then why, as opposed to adding this, why didn't they just put it in the original movement category, attack category, all those stats? Why weren't they originally put into just the base stats?
Well, I'm saying I'm going with Brian's theory there, right? If they had originally designed it one way, right, and found out it wasn't working, and in order to correct it, they could either write a whole bunch of code to put it and move it back into like another area of the print, or they could just write one line or change one line of code to change it to an aura cap of 1 and problem fixed.
So they didn't.
You see what I'm saying?
The reason it's not included in the base stats is because certain things interact with auras. Unfortunately for this one, I think, well, probably fortunately, they probably intended it. You can't res trigger off it, but it's like I just said a few minutes ago, you lose it if you get stunned. If I'm a 9 Zus for a moment, I will take us to unsecured versus secured bounty, where I think that it was intentional that they didn't communicate the change of who you can hit based on what bounty, because I feel like they did the harder coding. Basing it off of unsecured feels like a harder calculation than basing it off of total. So there's that. But yeah, back to the point. I mean, you know, it's duplicate or cap of 1, and that's what it is. I know it is confusing, but you know, that there's another side tangent we could get to about duplicate or cap of 5, but let's not.
I think we've done that one multiple times, and they did give an explanation at one point after we spent a good part of it. We probably spent 30, 40 minutes on that at one point in time, and then we did get an explanation on it. It was pinned for a couple of weeks.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
Well, yeah, you got your meds.
So has anybody put the new missile and the new special on their Phoenix yet?
No.
Yes.
And what do you think?
Well, I brought it up on the Wednesday. You were there. I brought it up on the Wednesday show. The issue I have is the fact that my guts build was not ranked and didn't have charged armor because of that being, or didn't have charged armor because it was locked behind. You know, I wasn't able to use it until recently. So I'm seeing the combination of the Mantis missile along with the guts build. So I don't really know. I'm saying it's kicking way more ass than it did before, but I don't know what's causing what. The increased accuracy and reload, or the increased original damage, or the base, the alpha strike. The term that George doesn't like, the increased alpha strike of the Mantis missile. But yeah, I'm killing stuff way faster than I used to.
How many did you put on?
Across the fleet, I'm going to guess 25 of the missiles, and I've only put the special on 2 ships.
I put 4 on each boat, so I've got 20. And I put the special on each boat, and I didn't really notice that it was an improvement.
Okay. But you already had the guts bill. I mean, the other issue that I didn't put the special on all of them because I'm trying to extend the targeting as far as it retargeting off of stuff, so I can have faster projectile speeds on some ships as opposed to others. I'm not sure that it's working, but everything seems to be working way better than it was during the last raid. But I'm not sure that that's the reason behind it, but it's helping my I'm trying to get a solid stream, so to speak.
Flowmax
for you older gentlemen, but I'm trying to get a solid stream of missiles, so therefore once it destroys something, we're going to have retargeting. And I was trying to use a combination of the Mantis missiles and keeping the Talon missiles, and then only using the projectile speed bumps intermittently, so I had a solid stream.
My worry is if your missiles fire prematurely.
Yes. Well, that could help for sniping. Yeah, it's a possibility.
Especially if you land a critical.
Yes, that's always a possibility. So
when I added my gut spill into that fleet, it was before the new missiles came out, and there was a huge difference with the gut spill as opposed to not. I tried to work up a build with the new missile and new special on Huggies, and I just couldn't get it to do enough different than the build I was using to bother with. And I can spend a month refitting this fleet, and it'll be a couple % more effective. And it just wasn't worth the build time to change the missile out.
Yeah, I agree, Vlad. I just stayed with the Talons on mine. I didn't even bother switching them out. No sense.
Yeah.
They were great, so why change them? I got other things I got to build, you know.
I did build the Skyfires with the Pallistus, and that was awesome.
I did too, admittedly only because I had all these tokens and I'd waited until the Pallistus are out.
Nice.
Yeah. That fleet is so much fun.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. It's actually really fun with the Pallistus.
Yeah.
You look and you see everything just get deleted. And if you're damaged enough to see an overload, it's like you blink and you're like, what happened to those 3 drones chasing me?
Yeah, that chain
they're all dead.
The chain count and the range. It's an awesome thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, with the gut spills, because you can't really add an armor special, you just slap an extra chain count on there. Like, yeah, I'll kill and that thing too.
Yeah, I did the.
Didn't think about that.
The Tideseeker TLC with him, and oh my god, those old targets. link. You just like two volleys, and it takes out the whole damn target.
Are old assault targets?
The old assault targets, yeah.
Oh crap! I'll do that for fun then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
That too.
You don't even have to trigger the ships. You just target one of the buildings. It'll go from ship to ship to ship to ship.
Awesome.
I had to make a prioritization decision on that, and I ended up sticking with the Banded Hornets. In the last raid, I finally got enough shards to build a Ghost Crawler, and I wanted to be able to take out Rudolph. So
there you go.
I ended up building a Ghost Crawler this month.
Nice job.
Nice.
You never know. That might help you
in the next
the skirmish raid cycle that's upcoming.
Yeah.
I'm sort of hoping it will, but I said for me it was I just was having no particular law. I was using the Sky Kings or whatever the hell they're called. I don't even remember the name. And they're a lot of fun, but you couldn't
do shit for damage.
Yeah, against it, they wouldn't touch Rudolph, and I'm like, well, if I get this, if I've always wanted a Ghost Crawler anyways, and even though it's kind of obsolete, it's going to fill that niche, and I can pull enough tokens out of this month's FM cycle to get it completely done.
Nice.
So
yeah.
And the good news, well, depending on how far along your build is, the good news or the bad news, is we're about to get a new Torp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Well, I got to say that would be bad news for me because it's completely done.
Oh no!
And that's why we got those gluttony tokens, so we can add those torps to the gluttonies.
Yeah, my gluttonies are not going to become torpedoes.
I might build a spare one for torpedoes for defense, but
I have a couple of spares, and I might bump those, play with those for defense. But the mud gluts are kind of my go-to hull for getting alliance points. So,
okay.
Do I have a Conquer thing in TLC? It can probably be subbed.
Yes, and that's the other thing is if there's Conquer, basically if you know how to drive mud gluts, you can do all the Conqueror targets in the TLCs for free, or that portion of it for free.
Yeah. I'm glad that they put out that TLC again, because at least now I'm able to have 2 versions of it. I could have the torpedo version, and I'm gonna have the muddle glut version.
I'm just glad they released all those delicious build tokens. I got an upgrade and a portal done in a few days.
Oh, it's perfect.
With base parts in those.
I'm still happy that they just gave us the damn charged armor, especially that first one that you can do with Apollos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
That's so easy with Phoenixes. Oh my god.
Well, but we have the stuff, so it's supposed to be easy for us. But you give people tech that they really need. Let's face it, especially if these are their titanium targets going forward. You're giving it at the end of the cycle so that the players that invested early, they had 2 months to play with their charged armor, so that the people didn't. So there shouldn't be any butthurt there. But I'm I'm downplaying people's ability to complain on the internet, which I should never do. But it still allows people to, get them at the end too. And it's late enough that if you started Skyfire's building, you've probably got them pretty close to done.
I agree.
Maybe entirely done, and you should be able to do them. And then that'll help. You can use, if you do finish the last level, you can use those X armors for your FM, or you can use them for the skirmish raid. So many options.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
And now I kill it. That's fine.
You bastard.
I kill things that you enjoy. It's my other job.
The first job is the dead hookers in the closet, right?
Yeah.
Now the first job is at the library, picking up the homeless guy's pants and belt that he left out the other day.
I don't even want to know.
No.
No, it's pretty much what I just described. Yeah, public libraries, man.
Yeah.
A public library where I live. Support your local public library. They do good work. I'm not biased, it's fine.
Yeah. Right. So have we missed any topic? I mean, we got the new sloth coming out. We got the TLCs. The FM's the same, even though everyone keeps on saying that there's more damage. Anything else?
Broken record. The lag still there.
Yeah, they haven't fixed that, and it's not.
Yeah.
That really puts me on. And I even tried the game room thing, and that's still laggy. Not as laggy, but it's still laggy. And
I think it's related to. I talked to Larry about this, and I also talked to a couple of people about this, and I'm assuming it's related to not your internet connection, but the performance of your video card.
What the hell does that have?
That's funny.
I don't know
what?
That's minorly terrifying.
No, actually, that makes a lot of sense too, because I actually have another PC in the house that runs fantastic on the same connection, but that thing has a massive video card in it.
And it runs it better?
Yes, it runs it better.
Yeah,
much better.
I don't know. I got like 175 megabits per second connection, hardwired, and video card's only like a year old.
Well,
I have 24 gigabytes of RAM, and I'm lagging.
Can I borrow your connection?
Well, what's your, how much memory does your video card have? I mean, that's the
now that I don't know for sure.
I'm gonna bet that the people that have really good video cards are having better luck at not having lag. Now the other thing is, and
I will get a new one.
Jeff and I talked about this the other day. Some of these, if you guys do trace routes, there's some very interesting things that come up a lot of times.
Yeah, I don't know enough to really talk about it on this show. But yeah, there's.
Well, when you have more than 100 milliseconds, it'll go to a star on it, right? But the problem
or it shows drop packets, because it can go above 100, and I guess if you know the right commands, you can change it. But yeah, it's what is it? Oh, I forget the name.
It's showing in the last like 3 hops though, which is all theirs. That's the problem.
Yeah, the last 3 to 4, at least for me, the last 4 hops on Traceroute are Kixeye rented, cloud servers that they get from IBM. Not IBM's main thing, but IBM's something layer, soft layer. And if you actually do an IP check based on what the BP-prod-kix-whatever, you'll see that is a server in Chantilly, Virginia, that's run by SoftLayer. And I don't know the answer. I don't know enough. My background's in science, but it's not in computer science, and I don't know I don't know if they tell you to contact your ISP.
Yeah, I did.
But
that's how I found out.
And what'd your ISP say?
My ISP actually ran through the whole thing and was like, dude, everything's fine until it hits the slat. Like, they walked through every single hop and connection, and they actually bumped my my connection up to max speeds to do some of the tests, and they're like, yeah, dude, we're fine over here. It's not on your end at all. It's on their end.
And who's your ISP? Is it Comcast or?
No, it's a local co-op.
Okay.
When I did it twice. Once I did it when I was up visiting my mom, and that was on Comcast, and then down here it's on a local co-op.
Okay.
And I'm on fiber optic down here, so.
Yeah, I got into a 6-day back and forth with customer support related to the lag in certain targets, and I haven't even checked back for their last response because I was merely trying to communicate to them that they needed to at least acknowledge that there was
an issue.
Work to fix. Yeah, there was an issue there associated with like some of the Scourge mining targets that have all the pop-ups. Like the 52 is by far the worst.
Yeah. Well, see, I was actually going to mention that those are the targets that you can actually see like clear differences between the two machines that I've used. Mm-hmm. Like those things don't lag near as much on a machine that has a big graphics card. On the laptop, I will literally just freeze up for a half a second while they're popping up.
Yeah. George, my video card's got 4 gigabytes of RAM. I don't know if that's good or bad, but this did not happen pre-Bounty. I swear to you.
Yeah.
After Bounty.
I think they've rolled back some of the animations and whatnot, and it's over the top at this point because we don't need that much animation. I mean, we don't care if we can see, on a 65-inch TV, if we can see the water lapping up against the edge of these walls or whatever is going on here that's causing this issue. People don't.
That's not why we're playing the game. Yeah, we're not playing the game for friggin'.
I keep harping on it, but it's just a problem. I mean, you take a lot of extra damage you don't need to take. If you're a lousy driver like me and take damage most of the time, it's exponential. And,
and you're probably better off autoing the target than you are trying to drive it. And I find that difficult to deal with as far as, because I was taking like on the 52s, before I just completely gave up and started doing the 99s, where I take way less damage than the 52s at this point after the Bounty. They just need to, you're better off auto, the fact that you're getting 10 times, I forget the number, but you're getting way more bounty, not bounty, base parts at that point. But it's you shouldn't be doing better on any target if you auto it versus trying to drive it. And that's the instance I ran into, as opposed to if you auto it, you're getting 22 minutes of damage. If you try to drive it and the lag gets really bad, you're taking 9 hours of damage. And then if you go and hit the 99s, you're taking minutes of damage because it doesn't have these huge walls popping up everywhere and just causing tons of lag. Yeah, they need to figure that out.
And I tried the game room as well because I think Merriweather, right? Mentioned that that was a lot low. Well, I was getting flash crashes too, and he mentioned that. And it's a little better using the game room, but that didn't fix it. It still sucks. And it's just a burden to get base parts.
Yeah, the 81 target is pretty bad as well, especially for the back end.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I went to the 99s. I went to the 99s because of it. And it's like, if you have, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have, I have fully outfitted Millennium guns, Harlock cannoneers, and I'm lucky enough to have that. But I'm just curious about the people that are running lower tech on these targets, and the 52 is what they're supposed to do. I used to like to do the 52 because it was click, 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 no damage whatsoever, as opposed to the huge amounts of damage you get if you actually try to drive it. And you're getting about 24 minutes of damage if you auto that target, which isn't worth it for the amount of base parts that you're getting, at least in my opinion.
Well, what they do with that ridiculous amount of damage in return for whatever it is that isn't worth it is they drive people away from those targets. I pretty much quit chasing base parts except for doing the old subsector bases because it just wasn't worth the damage I was taking. And I've been a pretty consistent. I play on a laptop with a trackpad, and this isn't a first-person shooter, and it runs on Flash, and you can't get this down to the point where you have to drive it to 1 or 2 pixels, or you take a huge smack from something that shouldn't hit you at all. There has to be some sort of progressivity to the damage. It can't just be, okay, you were 3 pixels left where you should have been, so here's half your fleet gone.
And then there's the range of... Oh, sorry.
I would say it effectively takes people out of that portion of the game. And as you keep driving people out of individual portions of the game, before long, there's nothing left.
Yeah, very true. I mean, because they're planning on, what they're able to do. It at least appears they're planning based on what they're able to do in their offices, directly hooked up to the server with,
Well,
extremely
how good did that happen with Bounty? I mean,
What do you mean?
When they tried to run Bounty on their servers live.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were trying to stream at the same time, but that was. Yeah, that was. I don't even want to comment on that one, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because I think that was more of a streaming issue. They're trying to stream at the same time. But
either way, I mean, yeah, but look, if they're trying to stream and they're on their own server, right, and they're having issues, like that should just tell them, hey, you know what? When people are actually trying to play over the internet, we might actually have an issue.
Yes, and the U.S. does not have the best internet in the world. I mean, if you want the best internet in the world, you got to be in range of, Kim Jong's mortars and be in South Korea. South Korea has very good internet, way better than ours. But, there's that other thing that some crazy man may launch mortars at you at any point in time. But, there's trade-offs.
So if I move there, BP will run better?
BP will run better. BP will run better, and you won't have to worry about the hurricane.
Yeah,
I mean, because Daniel's worried about Irma, losing internet connection and power and whatnot, and then missing the raid.
Yeah,
and this is not the raid. Probably not the raid he wants to miss. But yeah.
Can I split the difference and just go to a place with Google Fiber?
Mm-hmm.
There aren't many, but
Yeah. It's all, it's all crazy. I mean, then last night, since we have this group assembled, I had a weird experience. Like everybody knows I'm a biologist. I was brought up with a scientific background. I don't believe in ghosts or any of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm out on my patio, and the dog starts barking like, there's some creature in the room, and the dog doesn't bark. The dog is like, he'll bark at another dog or otherwise. And then a battery operated candle just lights up all by itself. And then I walk over to the battery operated candle. It's still in the off position. I can't get it to stop. And, in the morning, I didn't think too much of it. In the morning, it's off, but it didn't kill the battery. I can still switch back and forth. I just find it really interesting. The combination of the dog just going crazy and then all of a sudden a battery operated candle just decides to become lit with no apparent power source. I should have pulled the batteries out. If I pulled the batteries out and that motherfucker was still lit, then you guys would convince me that
do that next time.
Yeah, if that happens again, I'm pulling the batteries out of that thing.
Are you ninesing everybody right now?
As soon as he said he had
totally
experience,
this is totally like
my
a
accounting textbook real hard.
yeah. This is totally a Nines thing. I don't know.
Notice this one time.
Once. I'll say it more times.
But yeah, it actually happened. I'm not making any of that stuff up, and I don't believe in any of that crap. But
You sure you weren't like on crack that night? I mean, what the hell?
no, I was a little, no. I actually went to bed early that night, but it wasn't because of that. But it was
the Beast Ice, right?
He went to bed early that night because he like went through like 3 bottles of Jack or something.
Yeah, there it is.
No,
Oh,
I didn't actually drink that much. I just found it really odd.
It sounds like aliens to me.
Yeah, it could be
Blame
aliens.
it on the aliens, you friggin' racist bastards.
Yeah. I mean, because
Here we go.
personally, I think we need to build a wall on the northern border, but that's just my thing.
It sounds like
gotta keep them out.
extraterrestrials.
Keep them out.
Extraterrestrial.
Those Canadians are going to come down and start trouble.
They're pretty friendly actually. So.
Well, we can let well, back in the day, we let Pam Anderson cross the border, and look at all the trouble that caused.
See what happened?
I mean,
we got Baywatch. That's what we got.
Yeah. But Daniel's half blind after watching Baywatch all the time.
Yeah, you know what they say. Yep. Oh, geez.
We got David Hasselhoff too.
We're still live.
Oh, of course,
This was a show about Battle Pirates. I don't know what happened.
Daniel has to point out David Hasselhoff, right?
Of course. I mean, he sort of nines us with that. David Hasselhoff, who eats hamburgers off the floor in his hotel with his daughter there. Yeah.
Nice. Lint and all. Okie dokie.
Yeah.
All right.
So, does anybody have anything else to add to tonight's show? Or, we like I promised earlier, if Daniel's willing to strap himself to a tree and do a broadcast for, Hurricane Irma.
Yeah. I'll send you coin.
Hey,
I'll
okay.
send you coin. You strap
How much
back up
coin
to a tree.
are you going to send him?
Do it on the Wednesday show.
Mm-hmm. No, but the hurricane will be over. He's got to do it tomorrow night. Yeah. Tomorrow night or Sunday. Okay. Well, he's got to do it one of those 2 days. Doing it Wednesday, everything's going to be over.
Yeah. You'll probably be floating by then.
Well, let's see if I have power.
Yeah. Also, you get anything yet, Daniel?
No, nothing yet.
Nothing.
I won't feel it till I think tomorrow morning.
Ugh. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you leaving?
There's nowhere to go, and I don't want to get caught in the middle of the storm in the hot highway with bumper traffic.
Yeah, it's too late for him to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, he just needs to go hide in the bathroom for a couple of hours, and I assume your house is built out of center block.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good. Like we kind of dodged the eye, so it's coming. It's going west of me.
We hope so. We hope so. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise, because my house is near his where he is.
At the end, once everything settles down, I'll go over to your house see if it's destroyed.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Well,
no, but I thought it's gonna go that direction too.
I was assuming.
I would just say loot it.
2 days ago, I assumed my house was gonna be destroyed. But
yeah.
Because I'm closer to the coast than he is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did you at least get it boarded up?
No, it'll be interesting. I have a natural barrier, but yeah, I'm not down there, so not ordered up. So yeah,
let me down. I could have put a wall around it for you.
Yeah. The Canadian wall.
Yeah, Canadian wall.
Yeah. So now that we got that out of the way, is there anything else anybody would like to add? Any conspiracy theories associated with the next raid, as far as the next S target? Are they going to bring out the what's the ship the TSM hates?
The next raid is going to be uber hard.
Oh, the Man of War.
Yeah. They'll add a crazy Man of War to that one in order to keep us occupied.
There we go.
1 billion points.
Yeah, it's useful.
No, it needs 1,000 shards this time.
Yeah. Oh god. Oh! I haven't even.
Are we gonna get?
Is anybody able to get points out of the 80 or shards for the Katie's out of?
That's interesting. I posted that question on.
I got 3 of them.
I saw that, Mike.
I got 2 in the beginning. Haven't seen one since, and that's all.
They don't pay out enough to even bother. I just go with the mega ships there.
Yeah, you got to turn it on.
No, they actually they pay 20,000, so it's almost on par.
Yeah.
Can I tell you?
5 more.
Like
Can I tell you what I did notice has been dropping a lot more? Is the uranium targets.
The Ghost Crawler shards?
Yeah.
From the dubs? Yeah,
The dubs
I haven't noticed that.
The dubs have been dropping shards like they used to.
Really?
Really interesting. I mean, I don't need any of them, but
no,
I thought that was rather interesting.
Got hit one before go to bed.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Just been getting you out of them.
Are we going to get the other 50% of the Katie shards in the next raid, or are we just going to get another 20?
I don't know. I mean, the thing I don't understand is they should have had this hull out, before the raid set. Yeah, I mean.
You know what else I noticed is the store is all junk now. Well, I call it junk. It's all like specialized tokens and shards for the Kadies and no generic stuff. Or very few.
Yeah.
There's the normal amount. There's the normal amount.
2 days.
I don't know.
The Kadies, they want you to buy that bugger. They're selling shards.
Bad.
They want you to buy it. They definitely want you to buy that.
They are pushing the heck out of that, and I don't understand why.
They're pushing it hard. I've got actually 2 advertisements on my thing this week for daily.
That's what I'm talking about.
I've gotten it every day for the past month.
Same
yeah,
here.
and it's been on every day. Yes, it's been on every day, at least 1. But now I've got 2, and then a couple weeks ago I had 2.
Yeah, I think what they're trying.
Yeah.
I think what they're trying to do, they're trying to continue. If you'll remember, last week I spoke at length about the Harlock's Revenge and the Vendettas, and how crap that was, and how like a lot of players might have spent $10, but then they're not going to be inclined to spend any more money because what they just bought was crap.
Yeah, but they also. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think they're building off that with this, except this is a much larger purchase because if you buy, even if you buy this and fully build it, it's not going to be ranked, and then you go into the next raid cycle where you have to take 10 hours worth of damage to even be invulnerable to some part of this, but also your weapons, which are UAVs, don't deal concussive, so you don't deal damage to them anyway.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Corners game.
My biggest
no,
question.
it's not a corners game. It's an idiot's game at that point.
Yeah,
you just bought something that sucks.
It's hardcore, no thanks.
The thing is that this is supposed to be a trophy hull, right? And if you could just buy a trophy, that kind of brings down the value of that trophy. If you can purchase it.
I mean, I could probably go out and buy a physical trophy that's going to be much less than buying this Katie's thing is.
yeah, but you understand what I mean. I mean, it kind of lowers the value of the trophy if you just buy it.
Well, but no, that's reasonable. I'm just trying to think of exclusivity and how much that really matters.
I mean, do you really need it for the targets? No.
No, but
a luxury. That's a definite luxury item right there.
But why would you even care if some other guy bought a Cadiz?
Like, I don't care.
Who even owns a Cadiz right now? I could probably count on one hand, if that many. Like, well, I mean, to be fair,
I saw some videos. Videos.
Is this Katy Perry we're talking about? I have to walk away.
To be fair, also boo this man. Also, like, you're not gonna go out and have big old fights with this. It's not like you're gonna make any memories with it. It's going to exist, and you're gonna get chunked out and have a massive repair bill.
Oh, big time.
It's a big trophy. Like, it's a big.
Exactly.
I will buy a real trophy, or perhaps a steak. I will get enjoyment from a steak. I will not get enjoyment from this whole.
Yeah. As we've learned before, Brian will take at least 2 weeks to eat that steak.
I like food. Food is my preferred method of what do I want to buy? Food. Food helps me live.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Alrighty. Now that we've gotten across that, I might have been visited by a ghost last night. Brian likes food. Would anybody else like to,
Or an extraterrestrial.
At least mine was sort
okay,
of
we're throwing that in there.
Somewhere in the show we talked about BP, but
At various points in the show we talked about BP.
Yeah, we did.
But does anybody else have anything BP related, or any tips and tricks for Daniel?
No, we're good.
As far as how to strap himself to that tree for the show tomorrow.
Just get in your rage and you'll float and you'll be okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll all float on anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, should I end the show at this point, or anybody else have anything else to add?
No, I think it's time to stick a fork in it.
All righty.
I think that time was about 15 minutes ago.
Thank you.
Well,
We're trying to break records.
I have experience with the show. When we go past the time, it's sometimes the best time.
Yeah.
So, alrighty. Well, I hope you all do well on your TLCs and get your defensive arts taken care of as much as you can, as quickly as you can, and get some of those charged armors on your raid fleets. And we'll see you all on Wednesday, if not beforehand. So good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.